What is up, everyone? This is HumanAntagonist here with another video. So I wanted to make a video about poke mix-ups, and then how you can create sort of mind games from your poke mix-ups. So, first off, let's start with what is a poke. So, the definition of a poke in a fighting game is it's fast and it's safe. That's basically all there is to it. Even if it's not fast, if it is safe, you can still use it as a poke. But I'd probably call that more of a mix-up tool, because you'd probably use that for a reason. But a poke is just a move that you can throw out. So we have a Suka here, double Suka, and so what are some of her pokes? So she's got down forward 1, which is I-13. This is an I-13 mid that is -3 on block. Let me put her on guard. So this is an I-13 mid that is -3 on block. Her down forward 1 isn't super amazing. I don't think the range is all that great. I'm a Katarina main, and Katarina's down forward 1 is bonkers. But Asuka has her down forward 1, -3 on block. She has 1, plain jab, +1 on block, plain jab. Down forward 4, which is an I-12 mid. This I-12 mid is -9 on block. So that's a little bit more risky. I would use this move as a bona fide poke. Like, if I just want to poke you and do some damage, I would use that. And it's got better range than her down forward 1. She has 3, this is an I-14 mid. That is -7 on block. So you might be thinking, it's -7 on block. Why would I ever use this move? We will get into that. But 3, it does 17 damage. I'm pretty darn sure. 17 damage, and her down forward 4 does 16. Her down forward 1 is garbage damage. Yeah. So that is about it for her basic mid pokes. You would kind of use those. I can barely move around. I'm playing on a new pad. I got this Hori pad FPS Plus because of its touchpad. I'm gonna have to get used to it. But you kind of use these moves, kind of poke around, jab check. You're constantly moving, you're poking, and you would use stuff like that. For low poke, she's got her down 3. Nothing to write home about. It's just a generic down 3, and she has a generic down 4. I don't include her down back 3 in as a poke. It's more of a chunk. This is more of a chunky kind of low. I would kind of do that more if I want to just get some damage, and I don't think you're gonna block low. So that is about it for her basic poking game. She does have some other stuff that is more, I consider them a bit more mix-up-ish, like her, her F1. I consider that more of a mix-up-ish kind of thing. But she does have other stuff that is safe, but more mix-up-ish, or there's more of a purpose behind it than poking. So these moves are pretty boring. These moves are pretty lame, right? So why is this video about these moves? Well, on the surface, they seem boring and lame. They don't do much. But here's the thing. Why am I on the... Let me go to the other side. Switch. Let me go to the right side. Yeah. Anyway. Well, the important thing is, and this is going to require some knowledge of frame data. It's kind of a prereq for using this. This is kind of a bit more of an advanced offensive way to sort of create an actual perfect offense. What is the thing about this is you guys are well aware of frame traps, right? Asuka has her guard. She's got her FF1. This is a frame trap. She's plus on block after that. Don't press buttons after she does this. That's an explicit sort of plus frame move, right? That move is gives you explicit plus frames. That's what I call that. And you're +4 after this. But her pokes also give her plus frames on hit. Her pokes give her plus frames on hit. Her jab, when you hit an opponent with this, your hit connects and it does damage. When your hit connects, you are +9 after this move. You are +9 after her jab. You have 9 plus frames. You can subtract 9 from the startup of your next move, essentially. That's a good way of thinking of that. So I'm +9 after this. After her down forward 1, this move right here, after that hits, she is +8. Which does lower the pool of follow-ups. I'm going to get into that a little bit. She's +8 after this hits. Not after it's blocked. She's -3 after it's blocked. She's +8 after it hits. When her down forward 4 hits, now remember this is an I-12 mid. These are in general fairly rare. These are rare moves. Katarina, Nina, Alyssa, Asuka, Eddie, they have one, to my knowledge. There's probably more. Those characters have one. This move is rare, and they tend to be very minus on block. This is -9. Whoops. This is -9 on block. And it's only +2 on hit, so it doesn't give you many frames. But it's +2 on hit. And her 3, here is why. Her 3 is a pretty good move to throw out in the neutral, even though it's -7. This move. And it's I-14, because this move is +9 on hit, the same as her jab. The same as her jab. And as far as lows go, you know, these don't really give you frame advantage. However, her down back 3, which I consider more of a mix-up low, this move gives you +4. So she's +4 after this hits. This is huge. All of these moves having these plus frame values after a hit is huge, because these moves cost me nothing to throw out. And this is why I would never learn a character just because they have good punishment, because I don't actually need to do punishable moves in order to have constant mix-up situations. You don't actually need to do unsafe moves to create mix-up situations. So I'm just going to show you, we're going to go through these pokes, some of them, and show some of the different follow-ups that you could do after these that are guaranteed and unguaranteed. Now, I call this the poke mix-ups. I call it poke mix. And I say that there are 2 types. There are optimal poke mix-ups, and then there are suboptimal poke mix-ups. Any move that has a startup frame of 10 or lower after you do your poke, I consider that an optimal poke mix. Any move that has a startup frame of -13 or lower, I consider that a suboptimal poke mix. Anything that can be interrupted by a 13 frame mid, I don't consider that poke mix. That's just a mix-up. That's just a mix-up. I should not be able to interrupt your poke mix with a down forward 1. For instance, if you try and do something like this and you have plus frames, right? You're +9. This into snake edge, right? I should not be able to interrupt your poke mix with a down forward 1. I shouldn't be able to do that. I should not be able to do that. And I damn sure shouldn't be able to interrupt it with a counter hit launcher, okay? That's not that's not a poke mix-up. That's not really in anything. That's not really in anything. So so what kind of moves can we do? So let's take a look. So after her jab, she's +9, right? So that means that if the move comes out in 19 frames or slower, I mean faster, then that would be an optimal poke mix-up to me. That's my definition. That would be an optimal poke mix-up. So what kind of moves does Asuka have that come out in 19 frames and faster? She's got several counter hit launchers. Back 4, down 2. She's got all of her pokes, which also give plus frames. And my favorite, she has F4. Forward 4. So let's consider that to be one of our sequences. 1 F4. After the 1 hits, we're only talking about when they hit, not after they are blocked. This move is only +1 on block, but it is +9 on hit. So 1 F4 is our high sequence. So let's record this. Let's record the AI doing 1 F4. 1 F4. She just did a 1 F4. So let's see what happens. So I play it. I'm hit with that. If I do a jab afterwards, it will trade. It will trade with the F4, which is a trade that is in her enemy Asuka's favor by a long shot, because she's in such a favorable Oki situation, and she did a lot more damage to me than my jab did to her. And that is my fastest move. That is my fastest move. So I cannot interrupt this with, if I'm hit with this jab, I cannot interrupt this with anything other than down jab. That's it. You cannot even you can't sidestep that because it's a homing move. That is a dedicated homing move. It will track to both sides. I would need to do a high crushing move in order to beat that. Absolutely wouldn't have to do a high crushing move to beat that. And the thing is that she's +3 after that hits. So if I do that and I hit and then I do an F4 afterwards, I'm +3 after that, and you can only interrupt that with a down jab. That is it. That is it. And blocking that puts me in +3. That's a huge advantage for me. So that's our first sequence. That's our first poke mix. That's our first poke mix off of a jab, which is +9. But we can also do that off of our 3, which is also +9. Ooh, so that's a mid, right? An I-14 mid. You can throw that out in the neutral all day. I-14 mids are fine to throw out in the neutral. So I could do that into F3. That is guaranteed. They can't, well, the damage isn't guaranteed, but they can't. She will trade with you on a, if she attempts to jab, she will trade with you and you will be put in a favorable situation. So that's our mid. So let's come up with a sort of, I mean, that's our high. So let's come up with a sort of a mid. So, and that move, her F4 is normally, I think it's 19 frames. That is normally a 19 frame move. So guess what? If I think you're going to attack me, I can do back 4, which is even faster, which will beat out her down jab. So I can do, so basically with all of these poke mix-ups, I can always add in a counter hit launcher if I think you're going to swing afterwards. So let's see it. Whoops, I did the wrong thing. So let's see it. I can always do this if I think you're going to swing. Do this down jab. Well, no, I didn't. Something. I can't press anything after this, okay? I can't do a mid. I can't do my down jab after this. I would because that kick, I mean that her back 4 comes out in 15 frames normally, so it comes out faster than 10 frames now. So I have that, and then I can do this for my counter hit option. I have one, and I can do F4 as a high. So what are some mid mix-ups that we could do? I could do that hits, I could do it down forward 1. That hits, I could do a 3. Hits, I could do it down forward 4. I could do basically all of her mids, just about. I could even do a back 3. This is a 16 frame move. I could even do a back 3, which is notoriously difficult to punish. So I could do a difficult to punish launcher after this, and that will actually crush her down. Yeah, but it would hit it anyway, because she would be at a frame disadvantage, or I would be at such a high advantage. But let's say I want to do something safer. So I could do 1 into back 2. I can do a lot of things from back 2. So let's say I want to create a dedicated mix-up as 1, back 2, down 4. 1, back 2, down 4. Oops. 1, back 2, down 4. So she can't swing after this 1. The back 2 will hit her if she attempts to press anything. I don't even think she will be able to sidestep after that. I don't think so. Let me put in my calculator real quick. See, back 2 is a 15 frame move, so back 2 is a 15 frame move and plus 9. Ooh, she wouldn't be able to sidestep. I think my she would be able to sidestep. She wouldn't be able to do anything afterwards. She could sidestep, maybe sidestep block, I think. So I could do back 2, 1, 4, down 4 after a jab that hits. So that's a double mid. I mean, that's a mid-low mix-up that pretty much no one is going to block unless you do it every time. So I have a high mix-up, one that hits into F4. I have a mid to low mix-up, 1 into back 2, down 4. So now let's create a low poke mix-up off of this. So we're not going to go for an optimal poke mix-up. What's a suboptimal poke mix-up that we can do? That means I don't want them to be able to beat it out with a down forward 1. That's where it ends. 13 frames. The move would have to come out in 13 frames. So we have her down back 3. This is a 21 frame low. This is a 21 frame low. Her down back 3 is a 21 frame low. So that means this will come out in 12 frames. After a jab, that one, after 1, or after 3. Her down back 3 will come out in 12 frames. So you will actually beat out, not only would you beat out a down forward 1, you would, well, no, that's basically it. You would beat out a down forward 1 if she actually tries to do a down forward 1 after this. But oh wait, no. There's another part. Not only would you beat out a down forward 1, but this move also puts you in crouch. So she's in crouch after this hits, and you are +4. You are +4. So what does that mean? What moves can you do after you are +4? For each individual poke, go and create poke mix-ups that you can do afterwards using that same criteria. If the startup frames of the move you would do afterwards come out in 10 frames or lower, it's optimal. 13 frames or lower, then it's suboptimal. If it comes out faster than that, then it's just a mix-up. It's not what I'd call a poke mix-up. So after down back 3, I'm +4, and my opponent isn't crouch. So what can I do after this? Well, since I'm +4, guess what moves I could do that will now come out in less than 13 frames? Back 3. Back 3 is a 16 frame mid launcher, that is. Remember, this is a difficult to punish launcher. 16 frame launcher that now comes out in 12 frames after this connects. So let's record it and see how well it works. So we've got that, right? So I'm stand blocking, right? I can't do a wall standing 1. I can't do a wall standing 2. I can't do a wall standing 3. But guess what I can do? I can do a wall standing 4. I can interrupt that with a wall standing 4, right? So that is beatable with a wall standing 4. If I do a down back 3 into back 3, it is beatable with wall standing 4. But guess what I could do instead? Guess what I could do instead? I could do down back 3 into back 4. Down back 3 into back 4. And I will trade. I will trade with the while standing 4. And that's a free launcher. That's a launcher. That trade is in so much in her favor. She gets a launcher out of that. That is just one thing I can do. Remember, just about all these poke mix-ups, you can always sprinkle in a counter hit launcher if you think someone is going to swing. You can always, almost always do that. So, but what if I want to do something safer? And I think you're going to swing. What if I think you're going to do a while standing 4, but I want to do something a little bit faster, something that I won't trade? Well, what other moves will come out in less than 13 frames if I do a down back 3? Because guess what will beat out the counter hit launcher, right? A down jab. This down jab will beat out the counter hit launcher. It won't beat out the back 3, but it will beat out the counter hit launcher. So what can I do that is even more guaranteed? What is even more guaranteed? Well, let's take another move. What else comes out that fast? Down forward 1 does. Asuka's down forward 1-2 is a counter hit move that deals 43 damage on counter hit. So I could do, oh wait, I should have kept that. So, oh wait, no, so I can do back 3 and not back 3. What the hell? I could do down back 3 into down forward 1-2. So let's look at it. This will beat out the while standing 4. This would beat out the down jab. Because this is normally a 13 frame move, it now comes out in less than 10 frames. It now comes out in less than 10 frames, right? So that is now, that now comes out in less than 10 frames. So I can do down 4-1-2, which will beat that out. So basically, I can stuff all of your attempts at attacking after I do. I have the ability to stuff all of the attempts you have by creating poke mix-ups. Those are just multiple forms of poke mix-ups, and none of that is particularly unsafe. Not really. None of that is particularly unsafe except for back 3, but that is a very difficult move to punish. So how do you beat this? Well, I'll tell you how you can beat this. How you can beat this every time. Or so you think. Well, it would be easier for me to do it from the other side, but you can sidestep that. You can sidestep the back 3 and the down 4-1-2, right? So you might be thinking, well shit, I can't use this against high level players, this is useless. No. Let me go into switch positions. Let me go back on the right side. Right, quick. So here's the thing. After this down back 3, I'm at +4, right? Down back 3, F4. Homing move. Dedicated homing move. Yep. Down back 3, F4. That F4 will come out in 15 frames, right? It takes 6 frames to sidestep. So I can do that, right? So play it. Play it. You do not have enough time to press anything after that sidestep. So you are stuck sidestep blocking. You are stuck sidestep blocking. And that F4 is coming out quick. Now you can sidestep and duck. You can sidestep duck this. But oh my gosh, you have to absolutely know that Asuka is about to do F4. You have to absolutely know it in every fiber of your being that Asuka is about to do that F4 to get that sidestep off. And then it's better to just duck it if you think they're gonna do it. It's better to just duck if you think they're going to do F3. To keep ducking. It's best to just keep ducking after this. And then you can get your launcher. Then you can get your launcher in there. But at the same time, I could always do, if you're gonna sit there and duck, my back 3 would have hit you. And guess what you just created? You didn't just create a mix-up situation. You just created a mind game situation. No one online is going to be able to is going to sit there and be able to just sidestep that F4 like that and duck it. Maybe a few of them way at the top are going to do that. But no one, that's such a hard read that you might as well not do anything. That is such an incredibly hard read. And that's just off of one move. We just created 3 situations off of one move. Down back 3 to back 3, which will crush your lows. And down back 3 into down forward 1-2, which will stuff any other movement it tips. And those are only beatable by sidestep or just blocking. And then down back 3 into F4, which will it's very difficult to that will catch you sidestepping. If you think you're just gonna sidestep that mix up, that will catch you sidestepping. You have to know that's coming. And that's just 3 situations. We just sat here for a few minutes, really, and created that. So this is how you sort of create poke mix-ups. You take the amount of plus frames and you subtract that from your moves, and anything that is below 10 frames is optimal. Anything below 13 frames is suboptimal. So I hope this helps you out. Thanks for watching.